All righty, guys, we are back. I got nothing for you. We're going to be totally focused in on the chat. So I want to welcome everybody back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. And I wanted to ask you guys what you had planned for Friday. What are your plans for this Friday evening or this weekend? Poll question. You following the trial of Brooke? It's the Crystal Rogers case. Technically, she's missing, but we all know that she's been killed. We all know it. Welcome back, Tony, Beth, Dan, Miss Dog Lover, and Jill Moser. We can talk about anything. Talk about many true crime cases, cold cases, missing persons cases, politics, what happened to you at the grocery store. It's all on the table. There's Crystal. So she disappeared in 2015. Mother of 5 from Bardstown, Kentucky. And technically, this would be the second trial involving Brooks Howick and Joseph Lawson. Curious Contrarian, have you seen Operation Dragon Eye? No. What's that? $8 p.m. That's it. It's almost 12 noon here. Where can I find information about that? Operation Dragon Eye. Let's see. Operation Dragon Eye was a 2-week multi-agency initiative between June 2nd through the 13th this year, led by the U.S. Marshals Service. Oh, you know what? I did hear about this somewhat. This took place in Tampa Bay area, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, all in Florida. It is described as the largest child rescue operation in U.S. history, resulting in the recovery of 60 critically missing children aged 9 to 17. Wow. Many of whom were victims of human trafficking, sexual exploitation, or other high-risk situations. So imagine finding 60 Johnny Goshes. That's a home run. Thank you, Mark. Yes, please like, subscribe, share. And if you can't hit the Cash App, hit the like button. It's just a click away. Yeah, that's a home run, dude. Hit it out of the park. Bases loaded. Top of the 9th. Yeah, we've all known. I'm not surprised when I hear about red rooms or the dark web, snuff films. random stalking. Nothing could shock me anymore. If men can think it, they can make it happen. What's up, JR? Saw a new movie, How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, how was it? I think there's a new movie out called Survivors. I'm going to go check that out. And then me and the old lady are going to watch the new Jurassic Park movie. Absolutely. Let me see if I can read a little bit more on it. Rescue children received medical care via Baycare, psychological support, and safe housing to prevent re-victimization. Some victims were pregnant, including one carrying the child of her trafficker. Jeez. Highlighting the operation's urgency. This is disgusting. And you can only imagine once they have the child is going to go into sex trafficking as well. It's like the real Matrix. Florida Attorney General James Utmeyer and U.S. Marshal William Berger emphasized the operation's success as a model of interagency collaboration. Governor Ron DeSantis allocated $4.9 million for victim support. Damn, good job. And $900,000 to FDLE for anti-trafficking efforts. Wow. Way to set a good example, Florida. Now, was that so hard? Is that too much to ask? Thanks for bringing that up, Contrarian. The sixth Jurassic. I think it's Jurassic World. You're not going to tell me that The Hobbit is the same as Lord of the Rings. You're just not going to do it. Shrimp soup, shrimp salad, shrimp scampi. Let's welcome in Tony N., Boston Christian, Sharon Parker, Luis Cuevas. Who'd I miss? I got you, Miss Dog Lover. Welcome back. Sharon says, Sleuth, yes, that was near me. The 60 kids. That's amazing. That's the kind of news that I like to read. And if our government wasn't so busy taking part in the sex trafficking, they would be busy busting it. So it's good to see things changing. Hopefully. Hopefully they're just not throwing us a bone. Welcome in, trucks. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to call it human. I was death, and it was human outside. What do you mean you're death? I'm death. I can't hear you. All right, let's take a look at the trial of Brooks Houck. So it looks like it's focused right now. Day 3. Trial is focused on Brooks Houck's 2015 police interview. We've played that interview a few times. You can find it on YouTube. where inconsistencies were highlighted by prosecutors. For instance, how it claimed Rogers was playing games on her phone at 12:30 a.m. on July 3rd, but phone data showed it was turned off at 9:27 p.m. and never reactivated. Retired Detective John Snow, who led the investigation until 2019, testified about his interviews with Houck, noting Houck secretly recorded one session. Yeah, we all know who told him to do that. It was his big brother. His crooked cop big brother. Key witness Danny Singleton testified that Rosemary Houck, Brooks' mother, approached him weeks before Roger's disappearance, asking him to find someone to get rid of Crystal. Singleton, who worked for Houck, said he told her, "In this town with enough money, you can get anything done," but claimed he didn't act on it. The defense challenged Singleton's credibility, citing his prior perjury conviction. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, Florida setting a good example for the rest of the country, in my opinion. The news barely broached the topic nationally. Shocker. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, they're not just throwing us some something to gnaw on. Like, see, we're doing something. We're working. The truth is, there's big players in our own government who are participating in sex trafficking, including members of our own government, including the FBI. JR girl says there is news on Noah's death. Are you talking about Noah Pressgrove? I had a feeling we would get something from that case this year. Well, it says here still unresolved on the 23rd. Oh, civil lawsuit filed. Noah Pressgrove's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in Stevens County District Court, Oklahoma, seeking $75,000 in damages. The lawsuit names 9 defendants, including 7 individuals, 4 teenage partygoers, 2 property owners, and 1 adult supervisor, and a convenience store operator. Ooh, providing alcohol to a minor, maybe. Contributing to the delinquency. Alleging they contributed to Noah's death by providing excessive alcohol to Noah. See, there you go. Who had a blood alcohol content of 0.14. Usually 0.08 is the legal limit in most states. At the time of his death, despite his obvious intoxication, engaging in a civil conspiracy to harm Noah with claims that he was beaten to death by 1 or more defendants during a 4-day 22nd birthday party he attended on September 3rd, 2023. So here, let me put up, just so you guys know what we're talking about. Sorry. Let me pull up his file here. All right. Thank you for bringing that up, JR. That's why we have these little get-togethers here, so we can get this information out. This is good news. This is going to provide a lot of insight to what might have happened. Hopefully this will break something loose, too. Because something happened to Noah. Somebody dumped him out there. The way his teeth were found, yeah, somebody threw him in the back of a truck, drove out to where his body was found, and they just, maybe even some girls, because whoever it was wasn't strong enough to just lay him down, or they didn't care enough, and they just threw him out of the back of a truck, maybe even a moving vehicle, in my opinion. So I don't know. He was drunk. All the girls were all over him. Maybe one of them complained about being groped or something. Maybe there was something going on like that. Jealousy, maybe. That means there must be some paperwork out there. Yeah, it could be jealousy. Because in all the videos that were put up on social media the day or during this little party, it was like a 4-day party. The girls were all over him. He was like the life of the party. Let's see. Lawsuit details. The family's attorney, Austin Vance, stated the suit aims to hold those responsible accountable and uncover the truth. And for me, that's the most important thing, right? They need to find out the truth. Um, I think a lot more people get away with shit than we realize, because everybody just assumes. They don't assume that there's some kind of sophisticated plot. They're just like, no way. It's far fetched. You're a conspiracy theorist, Sleuth. Emphasizing that the narrative from partygoers doesn't add up. The lawsuit alleges negligence, reckless provision of alcohol to minors, and a conspiracy leading to Noah's fatal injuries. Seeks damages for funeral costs, pain and suffering, lost companionship, and punitive damages, with the jury trial demanded. Damn. Yeah, this is big news. The defendant's response. Caleb Newton, one of the defendants, denied the allegations, claiming the lawsuit contains no truthful information. He disputed claims that his son, Jack Newton, provided alcohol or that an ATV accident contributed to Noah's death. Other defendants, including Wilcoxon family, have not publicly responded to the suit, though their attorney previously expressed cooperation with law enforcement. All right. So the Pressgrove case, for those of you who don't know about what happened with Noah, this took place September 4th, 2023. We covered it extensively on my channel. If you guys want to go learn more about it, you can go take a look at those live streams. We did do some deep dives and a couple follow-ups. Noah Pressgrove, a 19-year-old from Comanche, Oklahoma, was found dead on US 81 near Terrell, Jefferson County, naked except for mismatched shoes, one Adidas, one Hey Dude. His body showed extensive injuries, including a major skull fracture, 10 broken ribs, a fractured spine, and internal bleeding, with his teeth scattered nearby. The Oklahoma chief medical examiner ruled the cause of death as multiple blunt force injuries, but the manner of death remains undetermined. So what case does this remind you guys of? Ooh, we have a super chat. Okay, what other case do we know of where somebody was most likely murdered and then placed in the street to make it look like they were hit? This is a high-profile case involving a family annihilator, and some of the people that he victimized actually had their own cases to deal with. So that's a question for the chat. What case could I be referring to? Let's go to Miss Doglover here. Thank you, Miss Doglover. Sleuth, thank you for everything you do to help bring justice to victims and their families. You are always so welcoming to me when I call in, and I really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. So excited for Baby Sleuth 2025. Thank you, Miss Doglover. I appreciate that. That was very generous. So, there you go. Don Spain, the Murdoch case. Very similar. Good to see you, Don. Very sophisticated cover up. How am I going to get away with this murder? You know, a psychotic killer thinks just like a defense attorney. Let's go ahead and put all the pieces on the table, put together a good narrative, and then I'll frame it up. Law enforcement will pull up to the scene. It's an obvious hit and run. Boom, done deal. All right, you keep your eyes on the road, my friend. Safe travels to you. Yep, but you hit it on the head. The Murdoch case. Remember, his son was most likely having a homosexual relationship. His father got embarrassed by that. Or somebody got embarrassed by that, tried to cover it up and killed the young man. And then they staged the crime scene to make it look like a hit and run. Diabolical. Noah attended a 22nd birthday party about a mile from where his body was found. He was involved in an ATV rollover earlier that night, but reportedly returned to the party unscathed. He argued with his girlfriend around 3:30 a.m. and left the house alone. Conflicting accounts of partygoers, including leaked police interview with Caden Pressey, suggest Jack Newton announced Noah's death at 5:15 a.m. before officially discovering the body while heading to fish. See, something bad happened and then they found him. Then they had to come up with the story. Loose ends, right? So you got Jack Newton running around announcing his death, not knowing that they're about to have a conspiracy born in that very moment. So it went from him kind of telling the rest of the people, like, hey, he's dead, to them saying, shut up, everybody come here, let's get together. We need to get our story straight. You guys all agreed what Noah did was, he did whatever it was, the reason that they beat him to death. But the crime scene definitely is not that of a hit and run, in my opinion. So I agree with this lawsuit right here. Good luck to them. Good luck. Noah's family has been proactive, offering a $16,000 reward in October of 2024 for his information, leading to an arrest and conviction. They've raised funds via GoFundMe to hire a private investigator and maintain justice for Noah Pressgrove. It's a Facebook group with over 31,000 followers. Social media, including TikTok, post about cousin Ashley Chadwick has amplified the case, garnering significant attention. Yeah, that's great news. So here's some of the work I did for a live stream. It's nothing too graphic, but it is crime scene photos where they found him. These are more probably be trial exhibits. The spray paint representing where they found teeth, I believe. So I think the large circle might represent where they found his body, and the small circles are either blood or teeth. So yeah, he was in the fetal position right here, and he was basically dumped. Somebody parked right here and they threw him out of the back of a truck. There's no way he was hit. So he was something like this, just in his underwear and two shoes that weren't his. So if he was kind of sitting up in the middle of the street like this, his injuries would be different. So in my opinion, it wasn't an accident. I think somebody dumped him there. And the way the teeth are kind of scattered right there is because they dropped him right on his face. They didn't care. They pushed him off the edge of a truck or just threw him. But either way, when he landed, he was already dead, and he landed right on his mouth. So I think his teeth coming out of his mouth happened way after he had already passed away. But that's just my opinion. Thank you, Jari. All right, you guys have anything else? So I'm definitely keeping a close eye on the Crystal Rogers trial. Right now, I think they're attacking the investigation like they did in the Karen Reed trial. You never know what could happen when it comes to technicalities. You really can't. Let's see, where was I? So day 4 of trial, which was today. Oh, wait, let's go back to day 3. Hold on. A bombshell moment came from testimony alleging overhearing the Lawsons discussing moving Roger's body with a skid steer, though this was stricken from the record. Yeah, that would have been huge. Today, the trial continues with more witness testimony expected. Prosecutors are building a timeline of Roger's final hours, alleging she went on a surprise date with Houck, contradicting his claim. They took their son to the family farm. The prosecution also pointed to Houck's brother, Nick. Now, Nick is the crooked cop I was talking about earlier, turning off his phone for 24 hours starting July 3rd, and Rosemary Houck's alleged involvement. Seeking a hitman, really. Prosecutors argue Houck and Lawson conspired to kill Rogers with Rosemary Houck and Nick Houck named as unindicted co-conspirators. No physical evidence like Rogers' body has been found, but the prosecution relies on inconsistencies in Houck's statements and witness testimonies. So the case really isn't that strong, right? This is another case where a killer has gone to great lengths to cover up his crime, very sophisticated, understands the inner workings of law enforcement, hence the crooked cop, older brother, Nicky boy, little Nicky. All right, let's go ahead and end the poll. Are you following the trial of Brooks Houck? Majority of you said no. Oh, and apparently there is a documentary on Peacock that I stumbled upon yesterday on Rex Heuermann's case. You guys seen that? I didn't even know there was an interview with his wife, Osser Ellerup. They did like a one-on-one with her. Try to find some time to watch that today. I think it was Peacock. Peacock or Paramount. One of the two. What's up, GP? Boston Christian. Nice. There you go. All right, guys. Looks like this one's going to be really quick. Had some downtime, so I figure I'd check in with you guys. I do plan a members only meeting at some point over this weekend, so we may or may not do some giveaways. We'll see what we got. And we might go live tonight. We might do an open panel. Really depends on my schedule and what's going on here at the Sleuth Crew household. So I'll let you guys know. Hopefully I'll see you later. If not, I'll catch you over the weekend. And if you need to get a hold of me, just shoot me an email at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Go check out sleuthintuition.com. It's still in the works, but it's coming together. You can get merch there if you want to. I think I put all the hoodies on sale. There's no cost to have it shipped anywhere in the world. So if you guys want to support me, you can do it that way. You can hit the Cash App. And if you can't hit the Cash App, just hit the like button or go share the video on social media. Either way, we will reconvene at my earliest convenience. Take care of yourselves until then. Peace.